Hi guys, welcome to another video. So today I want to talk about an insight that I got recently, which is to do with the impermanence of everything. So if you look around us, everything kind of has like a temporary nature. So that includes all these material objects. So they tend to come into existence and then be destroyed or transformed into something else. Nothing really is permanent. That includes the thoughts and the emotions in our body, and as well as the objects in the world around us, and in fact our body itself and our memories and everything. So all of this is just temporary stuff. But I asked myself the question, is everything really temporary? Is there something that's permanent? And what is that thing? So I did find that there is something that seems to be there every time I look. It's always there, and it doesn't seem to have been created, and it doesn't seem to end either. So that thing is consciousness or awareness. So every time I look, every time I become mindful or present, then there's consciousness. It doesn't matter where I am, and it doesn't matter what the time is or what's around me. It's always there. So every time I sort of direct my attention towards awareness or consciousness, it's definitely there. So I can't say this about anything else in the world or around me or inside my head, including thoughts and emotions. In fact, if I'm looking at anything in the material world, the more closely I look at it, the more it kind of vanishes. Like even just my hand looks like solid matter, but if I look very closely at it, I would see cells, and then if I look closely at the cells, I would see atoms, and then even if I look closely at the atoms, I would eventually just see mostly empty space. So you can see that this hand is quite an illusion, and the more closely I look at it, the more it vanishes. Another example is just the thoughts in your head and the emotions in your body. The more closely we look at these, they often just tend to evaporate. So the interesting thing about awareness or consciousness is not only is it there every time I look, it also seems to get brighter and more real the closer I look at it. So it's the opposite of thoughts and emotions and material objects. The closer I look at those, the more they tend to vanish. But the closer I look at consciousness and become more and more aware of it, the brighter and more real it gets. So that's a really interesting insight. And the more we kind of look into it, the more we realize that if there was some sort of core self or core solid self that transcends anything else, it would be consciousness or awareness. Now you might ask, what about when you go to sleep? Isn't consciousness, doesn't it disappear? Well, I have actually done some practice with yoga nidra or sleep yoga. And a big part of this is actually developing the ability to become aware while you're asleep, both in deep sleep and also while dreaming. And what I learned from this, I had these really profound experiences of becoming aware, fully aware and present while I was asleep. And it really pointed to me that yes, indeed, if you manage to develop this ability to become aware while you're asleep, and you turn your attention to consciousness and become present like you would when you're awake, you do indeed see that same awareness. In fact, sometimes it's even clearer and brighter while you're asleep because you don't have so many distractions of the world around you. So, yes, indeed, there is awareness and consciousness even when you're asleep. It's just that the mind is sort of in sleep mode, so it doesn't bother to turn around and look for consciousness as we would more easily while we're awake. But it can be trained through yoga nidra. So this really pointed to me, that this consciousness, this awareness is something that doesn't seem to have had a start and doesn't seem to have an end either. It's not recycled into anything else. It didn't come from anywhere. It's just always there every time I look. And I can't say that for anything else in the world or even in my mind. So that's my insight for today. And yeah, if you have any comments about this or any questions, please leave them below, whether you agree or disagree. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like I said, this is just my personal insight, my personal thoughts after exploring this topic. And I hope you got something out of it, and I hope to see you in the next one.